Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you've ever wanted to know the actual biological secret to changing your life, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into the absolute magic of self-improvement, but from a purely scientific angle. We're gonna look at how this physical brain of ours lets us shatter old habits and build incredible new ones. Let's get right into it. So, how often have you tried to kick a bad habit or maybe start a good one, only to fail and think, well, I guess this is just who I am now? Or maybe you think, I'm way too old to change, right? Well, the source material we're breaking down today completely shatters that myth. You are absolutely not stuck. And it's not even about willpower, it's just pure neuroscience. Your brain is literally built to change. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Rewiring your brain is possible. 2. Inside the dark room. 3. The power of neuroplasticity. 4. Magic of structured repetition. And 5. Practical tips for growth. All right, part 1. Rewiring your brain is possible. Think about your smartphone for a second. Every few months, you download a software update, right? And suddenly, boom, it runs differently. It's got new features. Well, our biology works in a surprisingly similar way. If you've been, say, struggling to stick to a morning jog, or you just can't seem to get that new project off the ground, it's not some permanent defect in your character. Seriously, you are fully capable of a complete version update. You just kind of need to know how to install the new software. Which brings us to part 2, inside the dark room. Now, to understand that software, we really need to look at the hardware first. Your brain is essentially this 1.5 kilo lump just sitting in absolute darkness inside your skull. It has zero direct contact with the outside world. And here's a really fascinating number for you, 25. According to our source, the human brain doesn't actually fully develop until you hit age 25. It develops from the back to the front, meaning the very last part to come online is the prefrontal cortex. That's essentially the CEO of your brain, the part handling complex decisions and planning. It perfectly explains why teenagers can struggle so much with managing emotions or long-term planning. Their CEO is literally still under construction. Plus, did you know your brain is made up of about 60% fat? That means the fatty acids you consume are absolutely crucial for its structural health. Quite literally, what you eat directly builds the physical machinery of your mind. And make no mistake, this machine is incredibly powerful. You know that old myth that we only use 10% of our brains? Yeah, science tells us that is completely false. We use all of it. Your brain houses a staggering 86 billion neurons, and information is just constantly firing across these pathways at an insane 563 kilometers per hour. But here is honestly the most mind-blowing part of all this. This massive supercomputer, processing all those billions of high-speed signals, it runs on just 20 watts of power. To put that into perspective, that's roughly the equivalent of a small, dim light bulb. The efficiency is just off the charts. Let's move on to part 3, the power of neuroplasticity. Okay, so we know the hardware. Now let's talk about the master key to your operating system, neuroplasticity. This is the scientific term for your brain's ability to constantly update and reorganize itself. Think of it kind of like artificial intelligence. If you use AI chatbots, you know they train themselves based on the prompts you give them, right? Well, your brain does the exact same thing. It continuously trains itself based on what you touch, what you see, and what you do. It physically forms brand new connections, neural pathways, based entirely on your repeated experiences. And this whole process, it relies on 2 main pillars: attention and repetition. If you want to build a new habit, you have to give it your focused attention, and you have to repeat it over and over. Conversely, if you want to break a habit, you've got to consistently pull your attention away from it. If a neural pathway isn't used, it basically weakens and breaks apart. It really is a case of use it or lose it. So how exactly does our physical environment influence this? Remember, the brain is sitting in a totally dark room, relying 100% on physical inputs. Well, researchers ran some wild experiments. They found that people negotiating a car purchase while sitting in a hard, stiff chair actually became inflexible and arrogant. In another one, interviewers who were handed a hot cup of coffee perceived candidates as generous and kind, while those handed cold coffee saw them as cold and arrogant. It is wild. Your physical inputs literally dictate your mental outputs. This is exactly why your physical environment is a game changer for how you think. A researcher at Stanford, Marilee Jones, found that the very moment a person's legs began moving on a treadmill, their creative ideas just started flowing. The physical act of walking sparked the mental act of creating. Along the same lines, environmental psychologist Matthew White found that just being near water, like a river, a lake, or the sea, profoundly enhances your mental state. So sometimes, shifting your mindset literally requires shifting your physical space. So, how does this actually play out over time? Well, when you first try something new, you're going to face a lot of friction and resistance. Why? Because your brain is literally trying to hack a brand new road through the wilderness. But with repeated practice, thanks to neuroplasticity, that bumpy dirt road gets paved. Eventually, it turns into a daily routine, an automatic, smooth highway where information travels effortlessly. You go from heavy manual effort to total automatic execution. Part 4, Magic of Structured Repetition. Our brains absolutely thrive on structured repetition. And as our source points out, so does the entire universe. Think about it. The sun rises and sets, the moon has its cycles, animals migrate at the same time every year, our days are neatly divided into 24 hours. Because our brains are a part of this rhythmic universe, they crave that exact same structure to build strong, healthy neural pathways. The source material applies this really fascinating science to the practice of Islamic prayer, or namaz. From a purely neurological standpoint, engaging in highly structured, time-bound activity every single day is essentially a masterclass in positive neuroplasticity. It absolutely forces both attention and repetition. And on top of that, when it's done collectively with others, science shows that synchronized group activities dramatically reduce feelings of loneliness and fear. It disciplines the mind and strengthens your entire personality through the sheer power of rhythmic repetition. And finally, part 5, practical tips for growth. All right, let's bring all this theory together into a practical, everyday user manual. First up, we have to talk about the glue holding all this together, sleep. When you learn something new, that data is temporarily stored in the hippocampus, kind of like a temporary inbox on your desk. But step 3 is where the magic happens. Sleep is the actual mechanism that takes that data from the temporary inbox and ships it off to the permanent warehouse of the cerebral cortex. If you're constantly running on no sleep, your brain literally cannot consolidate new habits. They just won't stick. To really optimize this supercomputer, the source highlights 4 key rules from an expert psychiatrist for protecting your mental health. Number 1, ignore random negative thoughts. Do not give them your attention or you're just going to strengthen those negative pathways. Number 2, filter your words carefully before you speak, because what you say out loud, you reinforce in your brain. Number 3, never, ever compromise on your night's sleep, like we just talked about. And number 4, be extremely cautious about what you eat. Remember, your brain is 60% fat. It absolutely needs the right fuel. Now, if you want to actively build new pathways, you don't have to go trouble the world. You can just use everyday micro-challenges. Try turning off your GPS and navigating home completely by memory. Or listen to a totally new genre of music, maybe some melodies or knots you haven't heard before. Try cooking a brand new recipe for dinner, or even just take a different route to work. These tiny little moments of friction actually force your brain to build new roads. And it all ties right back to the physical reality of our bodies. The source provides this incredibly powerful quote: "If you are not careful with your diet, medicine is useless. If you are careful with your diet, medicine is unnecessary." Physical inputs, what you eat, how you move, they dictate your biological and your mental well-being. So before you start seeking complex medical solutions for a little minor mental fog, check those basic physical inputs first.
So the biggest takeaway from all of this is simply, you are not stuck. You have an 86 billion neuron supercomputer sitting up there in the dark, just waiting for your instructions. Through focused attention and structured repetition, you can literally rewrite your own software. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. What brand new neural pathway are you going to start building today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.